This video explains the Regional Review Assessment Potential Conflict Analysis for the Section 368 Energy Corridor Regional Reviews, including a background of the analysis and the data used for it, where to find the information on the project website and in the abstracts, and how to use the data in the mapping tool. In this video, we assume you are familiar with using the mapping tool, and if you are not, we recommend first viewing the video on using the mapping tool. First, let's navigate to the document explaining the analysis. Here's the project homepage at corridoreis.anl.gov. Some of the content of the site will be updated over time. First, choose the Regional Reviews tab, then Regions 2 and 3 in the panel on the left. This page explains the main points about the Region 2 and 3 review. Scroll to the bottom of the page to reach links to the corridor abstracts and the conflict assessment criteria table. Let's briefly review that document. Corridor reviews use a comprehensive resource conflict assessment to help the agencies identify a corridor's proximity to environmentally sensitive areas. The potential conflict assessment, low, medium, high, is generated using the criteria from BLM's new regulations for prioritizing applications for solar and wind energy projects. The agencies incorporated the criteria into the conflict assessment criteria table. The matrix was applied to each corridor to generate conflict maps to aid in reviewing whether the corridor's current location best meets the settlement agreement siting principles to provide maximum utility and minimum impact to the environment. Here is an example of an abstract map showing a corridor with the low, medium, and high categories. A similar map appears in each corridor abstract. Now let's take a look at the table. Under the low category, the blue rows represent the criteria from the BLM regulations. The white rows list the mapping data used in the analysis. Note that in some cases data were not available for some criteria, or the available data had some limitations. Therefore, the analysis provides helpful information, but cannot encompass every siting consideration for the corridors. The table continues with the medium category. And the high category. Now let's briefly go over some perspectives for the analysis. Where feasible, corridors should be sited in areas of low conflict. However, to meet the requirements in the Energy Policy Act and the siting principles in the settlement agreement, corridors may be located in medium and high potential conflict areas. In those instances, it is important to note that many energy corridors were already designated in land use plans prior to being carried forward into the Section 368 designation. In almost all instances, these existing corridors, pre-Section 368, contain existing infrastructure. Retaining corridors through these areas may be the best option available for providing long-distance pathways for electrical transmission and pipelines while avoiding dispersed development across federal lands. Now let's go over how to access and use the potential conflict analysis in the mapping tool. First, click on the Launch Corridor Mapping Tool button on the home page and log in. If you do not have a login, please register or consult a video on using the mapping tool for instructions. We'll use the corridor 46269 in this example, and I'll use its bookmark to zoom to it. This corridor spans both Regions 1 and 2. We'll be concentrating on Region 2, so I'll zoom to that portion. Let's use the View Abstract tool to bring up the abstract. I'll scroll down to the Conflict Map Analysis section. The criteria link in the abstract points to the document shown earlier. A statement about the analysis is included at the end of the paragraph. We invite you to provide input on this analysis and any other aspect of the corridors during the public input periods. Other portions of the abstract provide details about specific potential opportunities or conflicts. Next, the potential conflict map is provided. In the mapping tool, we can learn much more. The mapping tool currently has over 200 layers, and over 60 of them are part of the potential conflict map. It would be very time-consuming to look through all the layers to find the ones overlapping a certain place. Instead of doing that, I'll add the potential conflict layer to the map. It's found under Energy and Regional Review Assessment Potential Conflicts. To improve the map display, I made the Surface Management Agency layer transparent, adjusted the drawing order, and switched to the topographic base map. Now it looks closer to the map in the abstract. Let's use the Info tool to find out why the area by milepost 80 is classified as medium. It helps to adjust the Info dialog to show the details better. At the top of the results for the potential conflict map, we have a medium section, and the overall level is medium. Next, we see that the location includes both medium and low categories. Then we can scan down the list of over 60 data sets combined in the map. Lines having a Y indicate data overlapping milepost 80. In this case, it's Desert Tortoise Sensitive Habitat and BLM Class 4 Visual Resource Management Zone. Next, let's view those layers. Use the name from the Info tool to find the layer. I entered Tortoise to find the first layer and Class to find the second one. If I use the Info tool again, I can sometimes learn more about these resources. I'll drop those new layers and show another example. Why is this area listed as a high constraint? I found that it is a Class 1 visual resource area, a designated wilderness, has desert tortoise sensitive habitat, and special use airspace. Here I've added those 4 layers. Using the Info tool again, I can learn it's Category 1 tortoise habitat, it's part of the Gladden 1 military operation area, and it's in the Harquahala Mountains Wilderness, which was designated in 1990. We hope the potential conflict analysis helps you navigate the many criteria involved in determining corridor routes, and welcome your input. This concludes the demonstration of the Regional Review Assessment Potential Conflict Analysis.